The Agreement, written by Jared Stuart. Interior, alien spacecraft, night. There is a flash of white light as the camera panoramas around a circular room which is ascetic and sterile as a surgical operating room. The whiteness of the room almost blinds you, and you can't tell if this is a dream or if it is real. The ceilings are high, about 10 feet. There are no visible doors, but there are opaque windows that you can't see out of. There is an eerie quietness in the air as the audience's head begins to spin from the panorama of the room until it slows down and focuses on close up to a young woman, Eve Stevenson, age 33, extremely fit and attractive. Former Air Force lieutenant, now private citizen and military wife. Her hair is disheveled, and she's in a white surgical garment as she lies on a table, hovering silently in mid-air in the center of the room. A 7-foot-tall being, bright blue skin, not of this world, stands right above her. Blue's eyes are gentle, yet piercing, and intense. Her body is slender, and her arms are longer than one would expect, with 3 extremely long feminine fingers, which gracefully glide, and a 4th digit which serves as a thumb. Her gaze is fixed on Eve like they are in deep conversation, but no words are spoken. Eve looks to be in fear and distress. She doesn't move, but tears are coming down her cheeks. She's aware of her surroundings as she gazes up at Blue. Eve seems to know Blue very well. Their telepathic connection is extremely strong, like 2 mothers grieving over a loss. But the loss is also one's gain. Eve then stares off, and flashes of images race through her brain like an overwhelming life evaluation. Interior, home, morning. Eve's flashback, 1. Eve stands in a master bedroom in maternity clothes, looking proudly into a mirror of the creation growing in her belly. A man comes up from behind her. We don't see his face, but he's tall and muscular, and gives her a big hug from behind, placing his hands over hers on her belly. Flash of light, and interior, futuristic hospital. Night, Eve's flashback, 2. Eve recalls giving birth to a baby boy. As the boy is handed into her arms, never has Eve felt such ecstasy. Eve smiles down at this beautiful creation. Flash of light, and interior, open serene field. Afternoon. Eve's flashback, 3. Eve is in a serene open field with her boy. He is now around 4 years old, and she watches him playing in the field, trying to catch butterflies. Her boy starts walking farther away from her. As she tries to wave to him in reconciliation of his departure, she looks accepting, and with tears of complete love running down her cheeks, the boy finally stops waving and turns his back as he walks into the light. Interior, alien spacecraft, night. Close in on Eve's face as she peacefully looks at Blue. Eve smiles and then reaches out to touch Blue. The audience experiences from Eve's POV a door appearing and opening, and through it, hundreds of purple, radiant butterflies flutter through and fly toward Eve. The butterflies then dissolve into the light.
It's so beautiful this time, even though I know it's not real.
Close up on Eve's face as the screen goes white. 6 months prior to the opening scene. Exterior, Denver, Colorado, suburban neighborhood, morning. It's 8 a.m. and moving day. A giant moving truck has ascended on the quaint, trendy, middle-class neighborhood in a suburb outside of Denver, Colorado. Several movers are taking boxes out of the house as Eve and her husband Jeremy Stevenson race about frenetically, trying to both assist and stay out of the way. A young neighbor boy looks on across the street, appearing confused. He sits on the grass with a soccer ball and staring at Eve. Eve catches his attention across the street and stops for a moment. and stares back at him, looking somewhat perplexed at his solicited gaze. Suddenly, she comes to realizing the massive undertaking around her and hurries to the next task. Eve turns to walk back into the house as Jeremy walks out with a box. Jeremy is a very handsome 36-year-old, 6'2" tall Air Force captain who is very well built. She still blushes every time she looks at him.
Hold the box from the bottom. Those are kitchen dishes.
You act like this is the first time I've ever moved.
Eve furtively smiles at Jeremy as he swiftly changes the positioning of his hands under the box and races past her to the truck. Eve looks back to catch a momentary glance at Jeremy's back, which is sexily sweating through a white linen t-shirt. She then enters through the front door.